how do you? I keep thinking about the performer who comes into this a little bit blind, and who comes to you.
Most of them.
And
yeah, there's no training course for porn stars.
No, there isn't.
There's no like online manuals.
What are some of the first things that you talk to them about? What are some of the...
I don't really get to talk to the new girls. Okay. They don't really. I mean, it's rare that I get a girl within the first year of entering the industry who even talks to me. I used to talk to a lot of new girls because I used to represent Joel at Gold Star Modeling, which used to be one of the big modeling agencies. And literally, I used to hang out with Joel, and he had a model house, and so I met a lot of new girls that way. But now his agency's gone, so I don't really meet a lot of the new girls. The girls that seek me out are the ones that have been around for a year to 2 to 3 years, because now they are starting to worry about their domain names. Somebody stole my domain name. I want to get my name trademarked. So a lot of times there's really nothing that I can do in order to get to new girls because they're in that learning phase. Right. And they're being told everything by their agents, and they're believing their agents, and they're believing people around them. And I actually refer to that as the pornification of a girl. Okay? It's like the first year of college. I don't know if you guys remember the first year of college.
Yes.
You come from, I came from a small town and I went to Washington, D.C. for school. So, and it was great because the drinking age was still 18. So it was perfect. But, you go to college, you're away from home for the first time, and you act crazy, and you do stupid things. And,
I did nothing stupid. Nothing at all. Right.
But that's what happens in porn. Girls come out from wherever they're from, and now all of a sudden, you've got an 18-year-old girl who's on a red carpet. Like, even if it's a porn red carpet, it's still a red carpet, and you've got 20 guys taking pictures. And it fills their head, and they start dating talent, they start dating directors, they're getting into drugs or they're getting into alcohol for the first time, and there's this whole party mentality, and so what ends up happening is that for that first year, I think it's really it weeds out the girls who shouldn't be here, and the girls who can really perform. They end up realizing, just like you do after your first year of college, you're like, well, wait a minute, I can't drink every night and get A's. Okay? It was fun, but if I keep doing this, I'm going to fail out of school. And there's a lot of girls, I think, that realize that and go, well, wait a minute. I'll party once in a while, but I'm really becoming a porn star. And they start paying attention to their looks. They start paying attention going to the gym. And they do everything what it takes to become a star, and they move past that.
Maybe so, start to recognize that money isn't there permanently.
Right.
There's an end date to some of that money.
For some. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think that's what goes off in their head. I think what goes off in their head is like, wow, I actually have, like, people know who I am. Like, I'm getting some cool jobs. I'm working with some cool people. Maybe this isn't just, fast cash. Maybe I can stick around.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's where the mind shift changes. Yeah, I don't think it's because literally a girl can stay here for 20 years. I mean, my wife has been a porn star for 16 years. So it's not a matter of you can't be here you can be here. I mean, we've got Julia Ann, we've got Lisa Ann, we've got Nina Hartley. You can be a porn star for 20 plus years if you treat it like a career.
Right, yeah. That's the difference. That you have to treat it like a career and not like...
Yeah, and the money never runs out.
Not like a frat party.
What I always tell girls is you got 100 scenes. That's what you got. Maybe it's down to 75 now. I don't know. But you got 100 scenes, and if you can make it past 100 scenes, you're probably going to be a star. Because you've got staying power. People want to continue to see you. What ends up happening is, what women don't understand that come into this industry, it's an entertainment industry. And just like any other entertainment industry, you have to change your look.
Yes.
You have to change your styles. You got to change your performance. You may have to add tattoos. You may have to change your hair color because just like anything else, it has to stay fresh with people.
Well, it's a business. I mean, it's
it's entertainment.
Yeah,
it's not just hanging out and.
There's very few people. I mean, look at Madonna. I mean, look at how her dress and her look and her career changed.
Right.
Look at most of the stars that are performing. They don't look the same as they did 20 years ago. Yeah, maybe the Rolling Stones do. But for the most part, who I saw on Good Morning America,
Very nice.
they can look the same because they've got makeup all over their face, and they're fine for another 20 years.
Yeah.
Nobody will tell how old
I also
they are.
don't know if I want to see any variation on that. It's fine the way it is.
But I think that's what, I don't really get to talk to new girls anymore.
Right.
And if I did, and I've written a bunch of porn 101 types of things on my website, you know, I had a meeting with a girl 2 days ago who picked a name, did 80 scenes in a very short amount of time, and then decided to contact me about trademarking her name. And lo and behold, her name, not all of it, but half of her name is already trademarked, and it's trademarked for a company that teaches kids how to read.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough
You gotta be careful with
That's
that.
a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You gotta be a little careful.
There's been
there.
a couple of women I've worked with from the very beginning, and what you have to do is you have to check trademark, you have to check domain names. You can't even tell your boyfriend what your domain, what your name is, because you know he's going to be around for 2 months.
Right.
He may be around for 2 hours, and by the time you know it, this guy's got all your domain names.
Right, he's bought.
And he's.
Yep.
There's another girl that I know that has an ex-boyfriend that bought up all her domain names, and he's writing a book about her now. And he's using her domain names to sell his book. And it's just, you know, you have to be smart.
Yeah.
You have to realize that when you're coming into the industry, you have to keep those types of things to yourself. And you buy up the domain names if they're available. Don't let someone else get their hands on them because they're valuable. What I'm hearing now is the companies are making girls sign model releases that are waiving their rights and their domain names to the companies.
Oh.
And they are registering the domain names.
Oh.
What?
Yes.
Oh.
No.
Not good.
That's what they're doing.
Oh.
Now, would you do you suggest to the models that they should attempt to own as much of their own content as possible?
Absolutely. You don't need to work for companies anymore. That's what I try. The other thing I try to tell women is that start up your own website. Start up your own clip sale store. Do camming, okay? You know, it's funny because I know older women in the industry where, you know, they got to shoot 2, maybe 3 scenes a month, okay? And they weren't paid $2,000 a scene for that. They were paid a couple
About
$100
$200 a scene, yeah.
And they were able to live by shooting a handful of scenes. And the reason why they were able to live is because there was never enough scenes being shot where they just relied on shooting scenes to pay their bills.
Right.
And this is, I mean, my wife's been in the industry for 16 years. She has 150 scenes under her belt. That's it. That's 10 scenes a year. And quite honestly, the reason why that is because she does other things. Do phone sex. Do webcamming. Do a clip for sale store. Have your own website. Be a dancer. Okay? Some girls now, a lot of them just escort, and then once in a while do a scene to keep their escort rate up. But even that dries up. Okay? I knew girls that would escort a high-end escort. They would go to New York. Oh my God, I made $30,000. Great. They'd go back the second time. Well, I made, $18,000. Oh, okay. Third time they go back. Oh, I only made $4,000 a trip. Well, yeah, there isn't an unlimited amount of men that are willing to pay $2,000 to $3,000 to see you.
Right.
Once they see you once, they're moving on to the next one. Exactly. So that's what you have to understand is that you need, as a porn star, you need multiple streams of revenue.
Right.
You need
to
a clips for
diversify
sale store.
that.
And you have to now work at it. A lot of new girls that I talk to are like, it's not happening for me. Be like, did you just really think you're going to come out here, spread your legs, and be an instant star? It's not like that anymore. You really have to work at your career.
And there are so many who want it that,
There's,
for every one who wants it, there's 10 more who are right behind her who will take it out from under her if she's not careful.
well,
In that way, it's just, it can be very competitive.
It's extremely competitive. It's extremely. 8 years ago, or no, 6 years ago, there was a girl that came out, and I used to have a 4-bedroom house, and I used to let models stay there when I represented Joel, if he needed extra places. And there was one girl that ended up becoming my roommate, and she would always complain, I'm not getting enough scenes. I'm not getting enough scenes. How come I'm not working? I'm just like, you're a cute girl, but look at yourself in the mirror. Okay? Like, literally, I had to go, look at yourself in the mirror. Do you see porn star? And she's like, yeah. And I go, I don't. I really don't. Do you go to the gym? Nope. Do you tan? Nope. Do you really get your nails done? Once in a while. If your entire career is based upon the way you look, then that's what you have to spend your time doing. And after I had that discussion, she ended up doing Pilates. And her body changed like that. Like she went from being a little bit, she was never heavy or big, but she was a little bit, what I would call flabby and pasty. Okay? And when she did Pilates, her whole body tightened.
Yep.
And she got rid of the flabbiness and she tanned. And literally, she went from this to that. And she became a star.
Wow.
She became a star after being in the industry because she started paying attention to what her career was about. And just like being in mainstream movies, you know, if I'm, you know, I don't know what his name is, but if I'm the guy who plays James Bond, and I'm going to be doing, you know, a beach scene in James Bond, guess what he's doing before the movie?
Yeah.
He's working out, you know, 8 hours a day to get into that shape to do those scenes. And then, of course, when the movie's over, he goes back to probably his normal life.
But there's a reason why they have gyms that are on set for 8 months.
Yeah.
With a nutritionist and you know, whatever. How many, so, you know, you were talking a little bit about Nina Hartley and some of the actresses that have had longevity. I'm curious about some of them that have transitioned into other things. So not just being a star, but, you know, I think, hasn't Nina done some directing or some...
She was in
Ones that direct and produce, ones that move in.
you're talking about within the industry.
Yeah, within the industry.
I think anybody here who's long enough, if they're smart, figures out to, maybe I'd like to hold camera.
Yeah.
And if you stay in the industry for long enough, you get to know enough people, and if you're likable enough, and if you're fortunate enough, you'll meet somebody that'll say, hey, why don't you try shooting something?
Give it a shot.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if anybody, girls, guys, the quicker you learn how to shoot and edit, the better off you will be. Because now what you're realizing is that I can produce product.
Yeah.
I don't have to just be in product, but I can produce product. I think this is happening more and more. I think when I came into the industry 8 years ago, not that many girls learned how to shoot, not that many guys learned how to shoot. I think now, with the downturn in the industry and the upclick of content trades, where more and more people are getting together and trading content, I think more and more people are just knowing how to shoot and they're editing. I mean, it may not be well edited, but it's a start.
Right.
And that's a start to a place where what the performers need to realize is that if this industry has a chance to succeed, it's based upon the backs of the performers. Because they're the only ones that can compete with free content. Because they're the only ones that can create free content. Okay?
Yeah.
If I own a studio and I have to pay the both of you to have lesbian sex with each other, I've got to pay both of you. Okay? If you decide that, hey, we both have websites, I would like to have a scene with you, you can perform together for free.
Right.
And you can share that content.
And we can both share it.
Yes.
And, you know.
And now that
in
really...
at least 2 places.
And it really,
Yep.
it really hasn't cost you any money.
Right.
And at the end of the day, when you're promoting the content, you're promoting it to your fans to come see it. So your cost basis to produce content is much smaller than any studio could ever have. And so if you've got to compete with free, you can compete with free as opposed to a studio that has to pay to produce content that can't compete with free.
Right.
If the performers ever got together and opened up their own tube site with all of the content that's collecting dust in somebody's drawer or shoebox someplace, they would rule the industry. Because I look at how much content is shot and traded between talent, but they don't do anything with it. I've talked to so many, like, what, you have a website? No, but I've got like 20 scenes. What are you doing with it? Nah, I don't know. I can't find a webmaster. Or, I gave it to this guy and, you know, he stole it.
Right. I heard that so often where they're like, oh, well, this fan said he would put a site together for me, and so I gave him all of my content. and gave him all the raw materials, not copies.
Yes.
All the originals.
Yep. The masters are gone.
Right, all the masters are gone. Like, really?
Oh.
Really?
Oh.
Really? Honey.
Sorry, that just like...
It hurts. What? Now, this seems to be the one industry where women have the advantage.
Much
Advantage. Bigger advantage over men. Because women, women can have, I can have a solo cam show. I don't even have to do anything. I can cook, I can take a bath, I could sit there and read.
And the guy's got to shove something up his ass.
And a guy...
Yeah, he can jerk off.
He might be able to have something, but not really. Not really.
He's got to jerk off, or
he has to pay at least for a model to be there with him.
Or he's got a girlfriend, or a fuck buddy, or
right.
He's got to do more.
He has to do. I think, in that way, I think they have to do more.
I mean, this is women, and it should be an industry. I mean, this is. It's sad in a way. It's funny because the focus has come off of women in the industry. Every website that you hear about now is, big cock this, blah, blah, blah. And the focus has really gone on to guys and dick size. And it's moved off of women. It's funny because my wife will get questions. A lot of questions about penis. Like, who's your favorite penis? What's your favorite penis size? And she'll respond like, "Are you gay? Why are you asking me about?" You're talking to a woman. You're talking to a female porn star.
Right.
Why are you asking me about penis? And we're doing that. We're doing that to guys out in the world, and we are also making them very insecure about their penis size. I mean, we as an industry created the penis pill and penis enlargement industries.
Yep.
I mean, if you look at porn back in the 70s and 80s, it's normal guys. Maybe one big guy. I mean, this is why John Holmes was so big of a name, because he was big.
He was the guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Now every guy is like that.
Yes.
Yeah, every guy's like that.
Yeah.
So, sometimes she'll get emails or MySpace or Facebook or whatever from like 13, 14-year-old boys saying, "Hey, I'm 13 and I'm 5 inches. Am I going to be okay?"
Oh, which is so sad.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, you've got so many years to go. All of you is going to grow, including your penis.
Everything's going to. Oh,